beautiful they are. Look at the coat on those things.
Gosh, look at that backdrop.
Yeah.
Prepare to be chilled to the bone. Joe Rogan, the king of the conversational jungle, unveils a chilling list of the most terrifying animal encounters.
Survive a brutal bear attack, and they're telling their story only to Good Morning America.
From close calls that made his blood run cold to stories that will make your skin crawl, this list is guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat. But be warned, this isn't just about personal scares. Rogan delves into the chilling history of a creature capable of unspeakable carnage, a single species that has claimed thousands of human lives. This list will leave you questioning your place in the natural world and the true meaning of fear. The bear attack. In one of Joe Rogan's favorite clips, a climber finds himself face to face with a black bear while scaling a rocky trail, captured on his GoPro. As the bear lunges at him, the climber instinctively swats the animal, causing it to momentarily lose its balance and fall. However, the bear quickly recovers and launches another attack. In a moment of desperation, the climber kicks the bear, managing to drive it away. Rogan was deeply captivated by this intense footage, which he showed to 2 different guests on his podcast. The climber's quick reactions and survival instincts were praised, but Rogan's commentary emphasized the danger of encountering such wild animals, even when prepared. The uncertainty and wildness of black bears have left them unlike anything else, and that is why they fascinate Rogan. He has spoken to people about this. He remembered black bears being the most uninhibited, always pursuing prey, and turned against a human being for food. Even their young might be willingly slain for the animal's food. He loved seeing that footage, but at the same time, he was quite alarmed as it further confirmed what he believed. Humans cannot be compared to the raw power of wild animals. His reaction was as much regarding the climbing bravery and acceptance of the primal bear instincts that describe the fine line upon which survival hangs in the wild. If you think this bear is scary, wait until you see the next one. The bear fight. Joe Rogan's podcast featured one of the most intense wildlife clips ever seen. 2 massive bears, each weighing over 2,000 pounds, engaged in a ferocious battle. The video, shown during his discussion with retired Navy SEAL and author Jack Carr, captivated both Rogan and his guest as they watched the bears deliver powerful smacks, terrifying bites, and lunging attacks at each other. Rogan, who was once an avid bear hunter, was completely glued to the screen, marveling at the sheer strength and aggression of these wild giants. Carr, too, was visibly amazed, commenting on the raw brutality of the encounter, which starkly contrasted with his own military experiences. The clip was used by Rogan to accentuate the potent, deadly nature of bears as apex predators and capable of violence unparalleled to any other. He said that the footage showed why humans must be thankful that such awesome creatures are mostly away from people. Also, it turned lighter when Rogan brought up Grizzly Man for a short moment, saying it was humorously one of his favorite comedies that further captures his dark sense of humor. There was nothing funny about the bear fight clip, since it showed just how unpredictable and powerful top predators of nature can be, something Rogan constantly emphasizes to his audience. Khabib versus bear. Joe Rogan showcased a fascinating and jaw-dropping clip during one of his podcast episodes, featuring UFC champion Khabib Nurmagomedov as an 8-year-old wrestling a small brown bear. The footage captured young Khabib fearlessly laughing and throwing punches at the bear, a testament to the unorthodox training methods that shaped him into one of the greatest fighters in mixed martial arts. Rogan explained that this practice wasn't a one-time event, but part of a tradition in Russia, where children are sometimes encouraged to test their strength against animals. Decades later, Khabib continued the tradition, wrestling a bear again as an adult, solidifying his reputation as an athlete who is as wild as he is disciplined. The funny thing is, I also knew he enjoyed it. To add to it, he knew that the wild people in the world would probably find it exotic to listen to. The reactions by Rogan and his guest appeared to be a combination of disbelief and comedy. They reportedly wondered what kind of audacity would lead both young Khabib and the adults to indulge in such things. A guy so hilarious that Rogan, notwithstanding his very obvious envious differences in culture and the sheer courage it takes to face such a dangerous animal, found him entertaining. He noted that while bears are typically viewed as untouchable apex predators, Khabib's interactions with them offered a rare example of humans showcasing a semblance of dominance, though only under controlled circumstances. The clip left a lasting impression on Rogan, who appeared both impressed and amused by the spectacle. The Massive Grizzly. In a memorable clip from Joe Rogan's podcast, he highlighted the sheer size and ferocity of a grizzly bear captured on a trail camera. Rogan shared the footage with his guest, Michael Malice, during the 1095th episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. The clip showed a grizzly bear so enormous and imposing that it left both Rogan and Malice stunned. Rogan emphasized that any illusion of being able to survive a grizzly bear attack should vanish immediately upon seeing such a beast. The bear's immense size, coupled with its potential to reach speeds of 30 mph, underscored why Rogan considers these animals apex predators and true monsters of the wild. Rogan went on to explain that once upon a time, grizzlies lived in way more states here in America. They made extinction in many of their areas because of how dangerous they were. He went on calling the animals slaying machines, a term he used to describe the extraordinary power and territorial instincts of these animals. Whereas Malice was initially skeptical. The video that Rogan had shared couldn't leave any doubt in the viewer's mind as to the threat that these predators pose. The discussion thus revolved around the former's love for wildlife and how he beholds the power of nature, while at the same time reminding listeners that survival is about all stark reality. Bear in pain. During one of his podcasts, Joe Rogan shared a fascinating and bizarre clip of a black bear dealing with a serious injury that left his audience both intrigued and uneasy. The footage showed the bear in someone's backyard, scratching its back when a pipe suddenly fell and hit a very sensitive part of its body. In visible pain, the bear lay down, stretching and curling its limbs repeatedly, unable even to roar in distress. Rogan, along with his guests Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker, watched the clip intently, their reactions oscillating between shock and laughter. The strange yet captivating scene prompted lively commentary, with the guests cracking jokes while marveling at the resilience of the wounded bear. He also vividly remembers one more video, a bear, black and infested with long intestinal worms, which only threw more light on the reality of these wild animals' lives. That backyard bear incident draws laughter, but it also portrays how even mighty beasts sometimes find themselves vulnerable. Rogan's ability to juxtapose wit with an appreciation of the raw, unfiltered nature of wild wildlife makes that entire discussion something one can both laugh at and ponder on. A part of this reminded the viewer of some of the lesser-known battles animals lose daily within their natural environments, even big ones like bears. Just chilling. In one of the lighter moments on the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan shared a clip featuring an enormous brown bear casually walking up to a group of people lounging by a river. The bear, seemingly unfazed by their presence, sat down on a chair next to them and appeared to enjoy the serene view. This amusing and surreal moment left Rogan and his guest, comedian Tom Papa, in awe. Rogan marveled at how the bear showed no signs of aggression, moving away peacefully when the photographer gestured at it to leave. However, what truly shocked Rogan was discovering that the photographer was surrounded by a dozen brown bears. Risking his life to capture the perfect shot. Astonishment and incredulity were the two things melting into each other in Rogan's mind, even while trying to understand the courage or perhaps foolishness of that person seen in the clip. He would play an amazing part in points made regarding how close bears are to human beings. He admitted it might be funny considering the fact that both places were humanized bear-like in their behavior, but the show was never about doing something as stupid as going into the woods with one. It was funny and showed how humor is wry and evil, but it also brings into question the fine line between human curiosity about wildlife and how dangerous it can become. Grizzlies as pets. In an unforgettable episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and guest Cameron Hanes discussed the shocking and controversial topic of keeping grizzly bears as pets. The conversation, sparked during episode 2068, revolved around a man who raised a grizzly named Brutus from a cub. Now fully grown, Brutus dwarfs his owner in size and strength, yet the man continues to live alongside the massive bear with seemingly no fear. Rogan was both terrified and incredulous as he watched footage of Brutus behaving more like a large dog than a wild predator. Despite the bear's apparent docility, Rogan repeatedly stressed the inherent danger, warning that a single moment could turn lethal. Rogan discussed as how the media portrays bears as lovable and thus misled people regarding their true nature. He disapproved of treating grizzlies like household pets, saying that even if a bear is being raised in captivity, it would still have its instincts. Such an arrangement would definitely give a flutter to Rogan, so he finds his sentiments echoed by the guest. Both admitted how these top predators could often unleash their unfathomable power. The clip reminds us of the fine line between admiration of man and nature. And the possible fatal fallout of indifference to it. The mighty tiger. In episode 2092 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe Rogan shared a gripping clip of a tiger attacking an unsuspecting man in India. The video, shown to National Geographic host Mariana Vanzella, depicts a man traveling on a wooden cart, armed only with a stick, when a massive tiger suddenly lunges at him. Rogan initially admired the man's bravery as he attempted to fend off the tiger with his stick, but quickly expressed sheer horror as the tiger's power became evident. The predator's swift movements and ferocious attack highlighted the terrifying strength and precision of these big cats. Rogan's reaction shifted from awe to shock as he noticed the man's arm being torn apart during the attack. Joe Rogan said that while bears are often mentioned as dangerous animals during his shows, there is no denying that tigers hold an equally terrifying possibility. He said they have such an ability to overpower humans with such little effort that they create another form of fear. This really was for Rogan a clip that involved the idea of the gross, uncaptivated aspect of wildlife and the dangers humans put themselves in by moving near such predators. Then, Rogan further delved into the reality of living near tiger habitats, as he insisted there was a need for respect and caution around those magnificent yet deadly animals. The primitive dangers lurking in the natural world served as a chilling and picturesque reminder from the clip. Talk of the Tasmanian tiger. Joe Rogan's fascination with rare and extinct animals came to light in episode 2086 of the Joe Rogan Experience during a conversation with comedian Ari Matti. The discussion veered toward the strange wildlife of Australia, and Rogan brought up the Tasmanian tiger, a creature believed to have gone extinct in 1936. He shared a colorized clip of the last known Tasmanian tiger filmed in captivity at Hobart Zoo. Initially mistaking the footage for a fake due to its vivid colors, Rogan's skepticism was replaced by awe when he recognized the animal's distinct features, including its large, unusual jaw. The moment was tinged with sadness as Rogan criticized the treatment of this unique creature, lamenting its confinement in a small cage. His reaction signified something more profound within him, the same attention for wildlife, but more hatred at the extinction of such glorious species by human beings. He went on to talk about the bigger strangeness of Australian fauna as Rogan and Shafir were laughing about the kangaroo, whose muscularity seems to exceed its size. Yet, as mere footage of the extinct Tasmanian tiger captures, it reminds you quickly how devastating can be human interference into fragile ecosystems. Rogan's commentary provokes the viewers into thinking about the worth of endangered species conservation and the preservation of the natural world before it has the unfortunate fate of so many others. The lions of India. Joe Rogan's exploration of the wild led to a riveting discussion about India's lions in episode 141 of the Joe Rogan Experience, with comedian Theo Von. Rogan shared a shocking clip of a lion attacking a man in the streets of India, leaving both him and his guest visibly stunned. The footage, which could not be shown in full due to its graphic nature, depicted the raw power and unpredictability of these majestic predators. Rogan highlighted the stark contrast between the lion's primal instincts and the chaotic urban setting, expressing disbelief at how such encounters occur. Another clip showed a lion chasing a man, further illustrating the unpredictable and dangerous dynamics between humans and wildlife in densely populated areas. The exchange between the two men encapsulated Rogan's awe at the nexus of nature and mankind's world. While he admired the bravery of those who made their homes around such ravenous beasts, it filled him with a feeling of dread for their safety. Rogan and Von discussed the different cohabitatory problems with lions and how they remind humanity of nature's wildness. To him, the footage was a warning and at the same time a deadly insight into the dangers of entering animal territories, again reinforcing the necessity to respect and protect the natural world. Stay strapped in, the next one is beyond anything you've seen. The Jewel Surprise. In episode 1185 of the Joe Rogan Experience, professional surfer Kelly Slater shared two jaw-dropping wildlife clips that left Rogan in a state of shock. The first showed a massive 15-foot-long saltwater crocodile casually strolling across a Florida golf course, a surreal sight that captured the attention of both Rogan and Slater. Rogan marveled at the crocodile's sheer size and prehistoric appearance, referring to it as a living remnant of the dinosaur era. However, the real surprise came with the second clip, a 22-foot-long shark swimming ominously through the ocean. Rogan was completely captivated, initially mistaking the creature for a whale due to its immense size. The clip showcased the ocean's apex predators in their full, terrifying glory. Rogan and Slater kept discussing how unflaggingly raw and dangerously unpredictable these beasts were, both awestruck that they could hum preeminently at their respective habitats. The well-known wildlife enthusiast Rogan cited instances like these, lucidly putting one's own humanity under the wheel of nature's huge, giant-like imagery. The dual video footages easily stand as reminders of the untamed forces that dwell on Earth and in the sea. The entire range of Rogan's responses, from awe to sheer incredulity, would suggest a somewhat primal respect, in fact, fearing them. A Day in Florida. In episode 275 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and the Protect Our Parks team discussed the unique and often bizarre wildlife encounters in Florida, focusing on the region's infamous crocodiles and alligators. Rogan showed a clip of a man feeding a large group of crocodiles by a river, an astonishing scene where the massive reptiles gathered in numbers to devour the food. Rogan was struck by the sheer boldness of the man, who casually interacted with the reptiles, calling them to the riverbank. The sight of so many crocodiles in one place solidified Rogan's comparison of these creatures to living dinosaurs, showcasing their ancient and fearsome presence. Tying together the intensity of the conversation was a video Rogan showed where a bunch of crocodiles were brawling. In one jaw-dropping moment, a crocodile bit off another's leg and swallowed it whole. The response from Rogan was filled with awe and disbelief as he watched the raw strength of the crocodiles and their hesitation-free readiness to turn on one another. It has definitely established Rogan's love for wildlife in Florida, as well as the savage, primitive quality of its predators. Its accent also highlights the measures that humans must take to keep out of the reach of these violent animal inhabitants of these places. The Massive Beast. In episode 2085 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan discussed one of the most astonishing legends in wildlife history, the possibility of a 50-foot crocodile. Joined by Bob Gimlin, known for his explorations of mysterious phenomena, Rogan delved into the story of Henry, a real-life crocodile renowned for his massive size. Captured in 1903, Henry weighs over 15,000 pounds and measures approximately 14 feet in length. As Rogan watched footage of this colossal reptile, he was both awed and unnerved by its sheer power and presence. The discussion centered on the fascination surrounding these prehistoric-looking creatures and their ability to survive through the ages. While discussing the actualities of a 50-foot crocodile, Rogan reminisced about finding such a creature really existed in history. Rogan and Gimlin shared cultural mythologies surrounding these creatures and what they eventually have become regarding human individuals' ever-stricken curiosity about nature's giants.
Whoa!
The footage concerning Henry drew an even better ceremony within Rogan, as it indicated his strong affinity to wildlife and mysteries of the natural world. The story, to the delight of most people, shaded between what would seem really real and folklore to captivate both the host and audience alike. The bizarre snake scene. In episode 2013 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan invited Paul Rosalie, an adventurer and wildlife expert with 15 years of experience exploring the Amazon rainforest. The conversation took a thrilling turn when Rosalie shared his first-hand account of encountering one of the largest anacondas ever documented. The clip Rogan presented showed Rosalie and his team diving into muddy, murky waters about 30-40 feet deep in pursuit of the enormous snake. Measuring a staggering 18 feet in length, the anaconda was so large that even several team members struggled to control it. Rogan was visibly stunned by the footage, which showcased the immense strength and size of the snake, leaving him momentarily speechless. The adventure narrated by Rosalie emphasized the real meanness and dimensions of the Amazon and the improbable risks that people take to enter its depths. Rogan spoke of how much Rosalie and his crew were brave, just going to face a massive predator and the risks it must take. This reflected Rogan's interest in the extremes of the natural world, as well as in people, who have, as themselves, dedicated their lives to studying and preserving it. That segment left a great weight on Rogan and his audience, reminding them of the awe-inspiring might of one of the most super animals on the earthly planet, the zombie wasps. In episode 1927 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan hosted outdoor adventurer and wildlife expert Forrest Galante, leading to a chilling discussion about parasitic wasps. The conversation spotlighted a particularly terrifying phenomenon in the insect world: wasps that turn their victims into zombies. Galante described how these wasps inject their eggs into other insects, like spiders, using their bodies as living hosts. Once the eggs hatch, the larvae feed on the host, eventually emerging as fully developed wasps. Rogan was left in awe and horror as he watched a clip showing a parasitic wasp overpowering a spider and injecting its eggs, effectively sealing the spider's fate. The reply of Rogan further magnified the affinity he has for nature's dark side, so to speak, with its slaying efficiency geared toward the parasite wasp's life cycle. The video itself stirred up a larger discussion on the systemic complexities and brutality of the insect world in general, with Rogan and Galante concluding that indeed, they had found remarkable adaptations that the creatures had developed to survive. For Rogan, the zombie wasps were what invoked nature's alien and merciless impression, gripped even in the tiniest scale. Quite unsavory but fascinating, that segment captures the audience's minds deep into weird and often horrifying aspects of nature. The Beehive Encounter. In episode 1908 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan welcomed renowned beekeeper Erica Thompson, sparking a fascinating discussion about bees and their behavior. Thompson, known for her viral videos of beekeeping without protective gear, showcased one of her most daring encounters. The clip Rogan shared showed Thompson removing a beehive barehanded, calmly relocating the colony without any signs of fear. Rogan was both impressed and incredulous, marveling at her ability to handle such a potentially dangerous situation with ease. Thompson explained that the bees she worked with were good bees, bred for their docility, which allowed her to perform these extraordinary tasks. From Rogan's reaction, it was apparent how he would give credence to the know-how and valor of Thompson, as he would admit that without full protective gear, he wouldn't cross onto a beehive. Thus, the intricate world of bees and their importance were dissected. The discussion included their role in ecosystems and some behaviorisms that make them so interesting. As usual, Rogan was very much awed by what Thompson engages in, admitting that hers is a special kind of energy for putting into perspective how one should know such creatures. The clip serves to remind us of that balance, as it would show both how human beings have an understanding, respect for wildlife, and resulting in such rare milestones. The whale attack. In episode 2006 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and stand-up comic Brian Simpson explored a terrifying yet fascinating encounter with a humpback whale. The clip, shared by Rogan, showed a whale emerging from the ocean and briefly swallowing a kayak whole during a whale-watching tour. Luckily, the kayak occupants were unharmed as the whale spat them out shortly after the incident. Rogan marveled at the sheer size and power of the whale, describing the encounter as a stark reminder of how vulnerable humans are when venturing into the natural habitats of these ocean giants. Rogan's awed and worried responses flipped themselves when the mention of the whale's showing of power, which he termed a power move, took place rather than the term attack. The video segment further sparked talk about the fickleness of wildlife and how some of their kind might seem soft, but are actually capable of mightily powerful strikes. In-N-Out Simpson was not left behind. He too expressed incredulity and highlighted how narrowly the kayakers escaped disaster. This segment has openly opened itself up to Rogan's passion for the raw power of nature and makes one weary of the dangers of coming across wild animal bar incidents. The Massive Shark Tale. During a special MMA-themed episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, featuring UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic, Rogan shared a jaw-dropping clip of a colossal shark swimming near a 39-foot boat in Australia. The shark, measuring an estimated 20 feet in length, dwarfed the 39-foot-long vessel as it passed by, leaving both Rogan and Miocic in awe. Rogan described the shark's presence as surreal, marveling at its massive size and predatory nature. The clip highlighted the raw power and dominance of these apex predators in their ocean habitat, sparking an intense conversation about human vulnerability in the face of such creatures. Mixed with fear and fascination, Rogan reacted with caution to the admission that he couldn't even fathom being that close to an animal of such size. He was particularly concerned for the young boy he saw on the boat, cautioning how dangerous such an enormous risk was posed by the fish. The conversation then progressed further into Rogan and his current infatuation with an animal, in this case the country's fauna, with an accent on the notoriety of Australia in harbouring some of the most dangerous animals in the world. A stark reminder of the overwhelming destructive power of nature, the clip demonstrated Rogan's deep respect for the unfathomable mysteries and dangers inherent in the ocean. Petting the Savage. In episode 771 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and his guest Eddie Bravo discussed one of the most unbelievable wildlife encounters, a man petting a great white shark. The clip, which had gained attention online, showed the massive shark surfacing near a boat as the man reached out to touch its head. Rogan was visibly stunned by the footage, marveling at the audacity of the man and the incredible sight of such a powerful predator being so close to humans. The shark's razor-sharp teeth and massive size left a lasting impression on Rogan, who described the scene as both terrifying and spectacular. Echoing this reaction was Rogan, a blend of admiration for the stunning beauty of that shark and disbelief at the man's courage or recklessness of attempting such a feat. He observed that the pure presence of a shark manifests the raw and wild force of nature and riskiness explicit in terms of such a meeting. Bravo expressed his astonishment too, describing the event as insane. He even pointed out the danger of such interaction with such a formidable predator. The clip stirred up a debate on the fascination that humanity has with wildlife and the balance that needs to be struck between awe of and respect for the engagement of such dreamlike creatures. Stick around for the ultimate beast encounter that will send shivers down your spine, the beast of the sea. In an unforgettable episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and comedian Bert Kreischer discussed a chilling wildlife encounter involving a tiger shark in Hawaii. The clip Rogan shared depicted a fisherman kayaking peacefully when a massive tiger shark suddenly attacked, biting into the side of his boat. The fisherman narrowly escaped disaster as the shark's powerful jaws came within inches of his legs, leaving Rogan and Kreischer visibly horrified. Rogan emphasized the sheer size and strength of the shark, marveling at the man's survival in what could have easily turned into a fatal encounter. In one toss-up, it pointed to how the sharks spell fascination for Rogan and their deadly raw power. This is a food for thought, or rather, a sharp reminder that humanity stands short on the food chain when venturing into the wild, he said. Kreischer balanced the energy with Rogan in expressing disbelief and shock at the narrow escape. It led them to reflect again on the wild difference of nature and the awesome risks to be encountered by those who venture into the ocean at that level. All this combined to show how much Rogan admires the whole wildlife thing and the respect he has for the man, as well as to the awesome composure of the fisherman under such a very terrifying condition. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. And before you go, check out the next video popping up on your screen. It's one you definitely don't want to miss. See you there.